My God, you actually did come back for part two, didn't you? Well, it's still the same date of the 8th of July. It's still Friday. And it's still 3:20. Actually, it's 3:23 p.m. Wow, how about that one? So the question throws back into the face of the non-believers. Non-believers, or actually the ones who believe and get screwed over by everybody else left and right. Totally conflicted and confused, and they're going to be asking me the question: what the hell are you talking about? You guys want no division. You guys want the same, right? Yeah. Why is the earth the way it is? Why is the earth the way it is? Now, this is going to be one of those questions you don't know what to classify it under or divide it under. And this is the kind of questions I'm going to be looking at them, and I'm going to be looking at their face, and I'm going to be thinking, they still don't get it. The answer is all around them, and they're blind as hell. Somewhere in the Bible there was saying that Christ would tell people, before you help them out, you got to help yourself out. Before you pick out that damn log out of their eyes, get it out of your own eyes. Before you understand the answer to the question, you got to do a little soul searching on this one. I'm still digging out the log out of my own eye. But at least now I can let you see a little bit clearer, though. When you look at it through your own visual perceptors, these damn things, you look around you. Just look around your surroundings. Is it uniform? Is it the same color? What is it? Is it dark and dingy, or is it colorful, or is it just pure white? Go outside your door. Come right back. If you're on the phone, go outside the door. Take a look. Take a look around. What do you see? I'll tell me the explanation. Tell it to yourself. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What's going on around you? There's a lot of authors in the time of the 1800s that were trying to be transcendentalists and existentialists. People who are trying to keep things real as they are, and other people trying to use nature to explain things around them. Christ would have you understand that just stay there. Feel, listen. He'd be a naturalist. Because being an existentialist at this point over here, we're looking at different things. You want to be a realist. You're looking at your brick and mortar at this point over here. You're manufactured. You're set up rules and regulations in your etiquette. Your self-created man cave of sorts. Things that you've already put in there. Different, colored. You want to feel comfortable about it. You get so damn normal about it, you get so used to it, you don't even see what the hell you got in there. But you walk outside and you're looking at people very strangely and looking at the sky strangely enough. You're like, what the hell is this? It's like a caveman coming out of a cave at this point. He's been in there all his life since a little bit of a squirt that came out of her mother's, well, came out of the mother, grew up to be a strong, or almost strong. He's seeing every other Neanderthal around him, and they're afraid to go outside the cave. There's a hole, there's an entrance, there's a bright light coming out of it. So he's going to check it out. He goes to the hole. What does he see? What does he see and what doesn't he see? Compared to what the other people are seeing inside, they're huddled up. They see shadows along the wall. They're always seeing shadows along the wall. They never quite equate it to what's outside. Why do we have differences? They could quote the Bible like crazy. They can't look behind. They can't look in between the words and the lines. You give out a big general word, life. What is life? What is life? Something even you're having a problem trying to figure out, huh? Some days I can actually think and feel like this and understand that there are things beyond my control, my power, that I have nothing to say about except to deal and cope and live. Or survive, basically. When I can actually get my head and my heart and my feelings squared away, I can think, I can see, I can try to enjoy, at least for a few moments at a time, what's going on. Then afterwards I get an emotional trigger, puts me through the tsunami, and then I'm depressed all over again. Then I'm like, oh, fuck it. At that point I can actually laugh at myself making these kind of jokes. But the lesson that keep popping into people's heads at this point over here is a forceful one. Because I'm still trying to get an answer. Why are we different? Why is it different out there? You guys want everything exactly the same. You schmucks don't even know what differences is unless they jumped up and bit you in the ass. And then you have a problem with that. I hate to say it, pal, but you already got differences all around you. You don't only want to be aware of it. Because you got some psycho trying to tell you otherwise. He doesn't care. He just wants to brainwash your ass. So, that's why I'm saying, you guys are going over the hill. You guys are going over the ledge because you're going to be following some asshole who doesn't care. He's going to be selling you some kind of crap, and you're going to buy it. So that said, you were stupid enough. You were willing enough to listen to the guy's bullshit. A pastor, a supposed shepherd, a representative of what God is supposed to be in the form of man. The most imperfect thing on the earth. And yet we have it in our, oh, fuck it. We were taught to follow our leaders as best as we can, question if we need to, but follow nevertheless. Especially when it comes out for the spiritual leaders that theoretically are supposed to be showing what God is supposed to be. God of love, God of mercy, God of tender. Not tender as in mullah, but tender as in he understands your pain, understands your grief, understands your period, and doesn't judge you for it. Unlike everybody else outside the door. Where you've got this one lunatic screaming his lungs off. You must blame, you must, because I say. You have to. You have to keep up with the anger. You have to keep up with this. You have to keep up with that. Because I tell you to. You will listen to my ego. You will listen to my voice. You will listen to me. These are the kind of guys that you're listening to at this point over here, and why? What are they doing for you? I'm not saying lose track of every damn pastor and preacher out there. I'm talking about you find a spiritual leader that actually gives you a little bit that actually shows you, not demonstrates or forces down things down your throat, but shows you, leads you. Self discovery. You guys are supposed to be learning what God is supposed to be. God's always been there. We just had to be open and honest, and we had to be truthful to ourselves, but we also had to be humiliated and humble to the point where we think we're going to be, that's it. God doesn't care about us. And then in different ways, God shows us He does care. You're just not seeing the landmarks. You want to be saved one way, God's already got the other plan. He wants you to go through this. And then after that, maybe you be purified enough to become one of God's leaders and show people how to understand God, understand what Jesus has to say, or Muhammad, or any of the religious leaders that we hold dear to our hearts, the teachings, the beliefs, the ones that actually care about people, not about killing people or dividing people because of their own viewpoints, politics or otherwise. Is it so hard to understand this? Is it so hard to know about this? I know they said you have to die. Well, there's a physical death. I've been through it. 3 times on an operating table at the age of 4 years old. Lousy context, lousy perspective. Scared the hell out of me. What they're saying is a surrender. It's not a death. It should have been interpreted as a surrender. You're giving up yourself as you understand everything else. And you're telling God, look, here I am. What do you want me to do? It's up to Him to decide how He's going to be revealing Himself to you one way or another. How He either gives you the feelings or the knowledge or something. Maybe gives you the words that you don't even realize that you're saying. He's not using an iron fist at your skull. He's giving you a kiss on the skull. Probably go, ew. I don't. If He had taken the form of my brother, my dearly departed brother, besides this kiss in the skull, I'd be squeezing him to death. I'd give him a massive bear hug. And if it was my mother, I'd be squeezing her to death. If it was any one of the saints, bear hug. For me, I didn't grow up with Roman Catholicism. I grew up with Methodism. My grandma was Catholic. She believed in the saints. I didn't question it. I don't push people's religion, and I don't make mockery of them. But I would hope that they would have been among the servants of God that pleased Him the most. That maybe they'd hear their prayers of the supplicants and would go right over to His ears, so God would know what was going on. And God would not judge people because of their differences of what they are by the actions and by the intent of the actions and of the words. If you're claiming that you're following the Bible at this point over here while taking a baseball bat and beating the living crap out of the person and saying you believe or otherwise I'm going to cram you one, God would not do. God would not appreciate that. However, if you did have something like the Word of God with you and you offer the crutch to a cripple, I don't think the cripple would mind. Especially if he's falling down on the ground and he needs something to get himself up. A cane or something. A prosthetic would work. A DME item would work. Wheelchair, walker, power scooter. But even showing that, a little bit of mercy. Just because you got moved and motivated and decided to help this person out. Just one single whim in the entire universe that may have been the key to help you out. Because you probably have to pay for everything else. But maybe that one example would have really made people understand where you came from. Show them the true self. That you actually cared about others. But still confused because you've got this other guy yelling and screaming and jumping his head off saying that he wants you to follow them over this cliff. But at that cliff there is the narrow bridge that leads into paradise. It's big enough for all of us to walk on it. Single file. Big enough for the entire group and yet a single file. Take that example. I'm a sinner. I ain't no saint. I'm an imperfect human being. I curse and cuss. I eat a lot sometimes. I've been eating mostly, but I'm trying to keep it down as much as I can. I've been depressed a great deal. I've been under grievous circumstances. I consider myself an emotional and physical cripple of sorts. My back still gives me shit. My neck still gives me shit. I still suffer through headaches, but I'm still alive. I've got a lot of emotional things that have been tearing me apart left and right. There's no way I'd be a perfect candidate. Yet why would God have Jesus heal some of the sick, but in a way that you couldn't understand? Leaves a young girl still helpless on the outside, but ignites the fire of God inside her heart. Because God would use a purpose for everybody in one way or another. God would know and show that purpose to only that person. That's why some people aren't perfect right now as they are. That's why there are differences among us people. You look in the sky all the time. The sky changes all the time. It's not the same. The landscape will change. Different shadows would come across it. Quite beautiful. Still the same shapely landscape, most part. Winds kick into it, changes a few grains of sand. That may change it a little bit. Differences. If you want to see something more dynamic, take the person over to the ocean. See wave action, hydrology. You see waves and creatures. You see life. You hear it. You smell it. You sure as hell would feel it if you get close enough to the surf. You would hear the gulls. always screaming and yelling for food right above your head. I smell that Twix bar in that pocket of yours. I want it now. Oh no, he's got a bread laced with something. Stay away from the bread, guys. Stay away from the bread. Charlie, I told you to stay. He just ate it. Oh my god, he's got alka-seltzer in the damn thing. There he goes! Oh, Charlie's all over the place. He's over there, he's over there, he's over there, over there. Charlie, we warned you. Sorry about that. Crazy humans. You're gonna do that to me as well? See the sad looks of the pair of the birds as they're looking at you. Say it with a little bit of humor there. Understand, there's a lot of other things going on besides the political drama. They talk about, oh, I know those pastors are talking about spiritual warfare and what you need to do, what you need to be prepared for. Listen to your gut, listen to your heart, listen to your head. God's going to try talking to you one way or another. He's going to get the message into you. And then it's up to you to interpret it correctly. And then act out on it. Of course, you're going to have some external screamer claiming everything and all glory and everything else. It just doesn't work that way. God usually doesn't work that way. Some other people may get to try to credit. You'll know where the credit comes from. Look, I am no spiritual guru, okay? Not an expert. Just a guy who's been through a lot of things in this life. There's some things I can't explain. If God had been using me, He'd probably been using me for the better by talking a lot of stuff to you in a way that maybe you can understand. And I may have blanked it out, which is quite possibly with my own damn mind anyway. I don't mind differences. What I do mind, extremism, hatred, and ego. And I need God to remind me of that all the time. Whenever I get into that kind of situation where I need to be reminded, I need to hear it. I need to see it. I'm not trying to say that I am perfect in any way. There's no way in hell. I'm telling you, folks, there are people out there, there are forces out there that are trying to tear you apart left and right. You gotta listen to yourself. Because deep down in yourself, God's trying to tell you what's going on. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican or whatever. The thing is, I have to listen to what God tells me and then see how it's being applied. Anyway, that's my little thing to talk about.